5 mistakes new starters make in their first mining job. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and recently on one of our latest videos a subscriber has asked a question. They want me to do a video about the 5 things not to do as a trainee. So I'm going to do the 5 biggest mistakes because these are big things that people really shouldn't do, or people that they don't do. So the first thing in one of the 5 things is getting the job is only the start of the battle. So one of the biggest mistakes people make, especially with all the hard rock mining jobs around the country, is that they think getting the job is the battle, and once you get the job, it's all easy from there. And that couldn't be further from the truth, unfortunately. Once you get the job, and people don't like to hear this, but it's the truth, and it's the reason that there is so many job opportunities around there, because people don't take this seriously, is that it really is only the start of it. You have to make sure that you get yourself up to speed as quickly as possible, and that brings us on to the second biggest mistake people make, is that they don't learn how the mine runs. So when they do it, they only learn how their job goes. So they come into it with a typical view of a normal workplace, which is, fine. But like I said, this is about the mistakes that people make. And this mistake number 2 is all about people not knowing how the mine runs, because if you don't know how the mine runs and you can't be left alone to get on with your job, you don't have a job yourself. So in a normal workplace, if you're working in Kmart or Coles or wherever, they can get you to stack shelves, and it doesn't really matter what's going out on the back dock. You don't need to know about that because you don't go anywhere. A mine's not the same. If most of the managers' roles in the mines around the country are all statutory, so that means that if something goes wrong on the mine site, that they're the ones standing in front of the magistrate. So this means that you're in a position as a new starter of having to have the confidence of your manager, because is a manager going to let you go and be on your own if they're not 100% certain that you're going to be able to do that job successfully and know what's going on around you? And of course the answer to the question is no, they're not going to let you go off on your own if they don't think that you're going to be capable of doing it. And so that's the biggest thing that people do, is they concentrate on the actual job at hand without worrying about what's going on around them. And then when it comes to time to be able to be left alone, they flounder. It's the mistake that I watched people make for 25 years. They just get there and they learn how to drive the truck, and they don't worry about anything else to exclusion. And as soon as you take the babysitter out, they've just got no idea and they can't cope, and they only last a couple of days after that. It's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. The third one is don't blow shifts, turn up for work. So you need to turn up for work. There's all these jobs out there, people are vying for them. If you want to get promoted up the ladder, there's heaps of work around there, but you've got to turn up. People blow shifts all the time. It's all right if you're sick, but it's not okay if you've got a skin full of piss. That's just, that doesn't happen much anymore. I know, because they've changed a lot of the alcohol rules on site. But back in the day, it was a really big problem. So you need to turn up for work. That's the big number 3 thing. If you blow a lot of shifts in your first 6 months, they might not take you on. Because that's the other thing that people don't realise, is that the 6-month probationary period works both ways. If you get to the end of 6 months and they decide that they don't want you, they can just let you go. That's not an issue at all. They've still got to want you. So make sure that you do it in good stead. It's not just getting there. You've got to make it to that 6 months to make past your probationary period with all the employers. But you need to get there in style as well. So you need to get there showing them that you're going to make it. The number 4 thing is be honest. They need to be able to trust you. So with safety and being able to be left alone in the workplace by yourself, there's a fair bit of trust involved. And so if you get caught lying, it's pretty much over for you on that site. And I've seen people, make, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuck ups. And because they were honest, they got a rap over the knuckles, they got written up, they got written warnings, but they kept their jobs. I've seen other people lie over $50 things and get sacked on the spot. It is what it is. As soon as they find out that you're not trustworthy, then it makes your job in peril, and it means that it's hard for anybody to actually trust you to go and do your job on the site. Because remember, it's a dangerous workplace. They need to be able to trust that you're going to do the right thing. And the last and the fifth one that you see a lot in the crib room is don't be a know-it-all. One of the big things that you see in the crib room a lot is people will offer advice and the new person will say, yeah, I already know that. And as soon as you say that, that'll be the last bit of advice that you ever get off anybody on the crew. And again, this is something that I've watched over and over and over again over the years. And, you know, it is what it is. People, even if the feedback's not good, just take it, because you never know, you know, what gem you might unearth in the middle of it all. And you've got to be ready for that. You know, it's part of, you know, getting the job and being in the industry. Sometimes the people that give this feedback don't give it, you know, in a great, wonderful way. You know, sometimes it can be very direct. And that's the thing I used to like about the industry, was that, you know, a lot of the feedback was direct and it used to allow you to correct. And, you know, if you got it right too, a lot of the feedback is very positive as well. Positive not only in, you know, getting praise, but positive in getting paid a lot of money to get, get the job done and making a lot of money for the company and yourself in bonuses and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so those are the 5 things. And the last thing, like I said, is don't be a know-it-all. You need to learn how it all works, but, you know, if somebody's offering you advice, you need to take it. So the other thing that you can do if you really want to get in is, like I said, is knowing how it all works makes a huge difference before you go. So you can have a look at the sponsors training, the intro to underground mining, the DIY package. The DIY, it's $495. It's got everything in there that you need to get a mining job, including instructions on how to redo your resume and interview prep questions in the back of the seminar here. If you want some help from one of the shift bosses at Underground Training to help you walk you through the process, then they've got the work ready here, and that's exactly the same online training as the DIY, but instead of you redoing your own resume, we redo your resume for you. We do interview prep, come up with a plan of where and how you're going to get in and help you work the plan. So it's a lot more involved, you get a lot more help, and you get direction, and you get somebody to bounce your questions off, and it basically becomes a shift boss's job to make sure that you've understood all the training, all the information out of the training, so you can hold that conversation with the foreman in the interview. And when you can do that, that gets you the job. Yeah, there's jobs all over the country. This is the map with all the jobs on it from around the country, and we've just had another young fella relocate to Kalgoorlie. He's just got himself a job. I'm just about to do a video about that, but congratulations, Dempsey, on getting that. He sent me a lovely video through, which I'm about to turn into a bigger video. But yeah, that's the 5 things that I would recommend. And the other thing that I would recommend you do too is come over to our videos and type fail into here and give it a spin, and you will see all the other videos that I've done with more specific things about failure. So you can look at these videos, and the last one that I did on failure was, it was a couple of months ago, why so many people fail in the first mining job. So I've done a few videos on it already, but I like the idea of doing the 5 things, and I think, you know, it's probably not the direct 5 things that people wanted, like specific things, but the big one that I find that people get blindsided for right at the start is thinking that, you know, getting the job's the battle, and they're not ready for what's about to unfold in front of them. And those people get cleaned up pretty quickly, and they're some of the first ones to put up their hand and say, get me the hell out of here. And that's one of the reasons why I put that at number 1. So I hope you found that information helpful, and if you've got any more questions, please send them through, and if you could like and subscribe the channel. Thanks.